Hey there, YouTube. I'm stuck in the past, and we just had one of the more difficult hay cuttings I've experienced since I've started, which isn't saying too much because I'm only on my second year. But there were a lot of trials, there was a lot of tribulations, and in the end, we've had some problems. So, from a hay baler that no longer ties knots to a hay baler that fell apart almost completely, to a hay baler that's been put together by two machines just to make one work, plus a hay bind that completely obliterated itself, a truck that's got a leaky injector line and a blown out front end, and a property owner that could have been a little happier. This is what we came up with. In the end, we baled 566 bales. They were all sold, luckily. Unfortunately, some of that money had to come out for repairs. And that is sort of the way farming goes sometimes. Some days you get a good day, some days you get a little bit less than desirable day. But at the end of the day, everything was finished, and we should have ended at least a little on top. That being said, we're kind of in the market for another hay baler, and I could really use another hay bind. So, hopefully in the next couple weeks, we're going to come up with those because we still have another field ahead of us, and we're hoping it'll all go smoothly when we do get there. So, join me for this adventure, if you want to call it that. It all ended up working out in the end, for the most part. Hoping next time goes smoother. Well, YouTube, we're here at the big field, and I have to admit I'm a little intimidated. This stuff is taller than my hay binds in the up position. So needless to say, there's a lot of volume out here. So I guess we're going to see how today goes. I'm going to try to get as much footage as I can, but it's going to end up kind of being what it'll be. But that being said, the last field went really well. Hopefully it'll continue the trend today. And in further developments, I did some research, and evidently this bolt's supposed to be as tight as you can get it. But when you go to tighten it, the wobble box has to be just about dead center, which it is very close, but I got to move it a little bit yet. So the reason it's got to be super tight is so you don't end up with slop inside the hole, which, you know, on hindsight makes sense. The only thing that had me concerned about that is the bushing in there, but evidently it's actually designed to flex back and forth, and that's why you need to make sure that it's set in the center so you don't overflex the bushing. So we're going to try that and see how well it works. So, one pass in, and I don't have any shifting anymore. So I guess I got to figure out what broke in here. See, this device moves back and forth when I shift, and it'll line up for this brake right here. So since I'm moving the lever and that's not moving, one would expect that it's broken somewhere in this column. So luckily it's not internal, like in the transmission somewhere, but still got to figure out how to get to it in here and fix it. So that's going to be my next couple minutes, hopefully. Well, would you look at it? So this shifter moves forwards and backwards, as you can see. It's supposed to be hooked up to this linkage here, but this linkage is all the way over here and not attached to here. So I'm going to try to put it back in there, but it looks like a ball style linkage, and I'm betting it fell out because it's wore out, and probably nothing's going to stop it from doing that again, except perhaps a modification. So I'm thinking I might have to get a drill that out, and then put a through bolt all the way through it, leave it kind of loose, and let that just be what it is for the day, because it's probably going to come right back out of there. Of course, in the interim, I might just run it with this cover off, which is ugly, and if it does pop off, I can just kind of reach in there, pop it back on there, and be on about my business. So I think that might be what we do for the time being, and then when we go to get it right, we'll probably do what I just said and drill it out and do the thing that way, and then eventually we'll get a new linkage and it'll all be fresh. But for now, this might just be what it'll take. So alrighty, hopefully I can make a whole pass here and get back in the rhythm and do some footage. Well, after a bunch of trials and tribulations, once again the deer ended up on the 706. That New Holland is officially for sale. If anybody's interested and wants to give it a foster home, it would make a wonderful lawn ornament. I was thinking I would sell the deer and keep the New Holland for a backup, but I've decided the deer is here to stay. It eats this stuff for breakfast. This stuff's taller than my daughter. Does the John Deere with no rollers care? Hell no. Plus, the New Holland bites. I don't like pets that bite. The deer never bit me. Doesn't mean he's been able to cut non-stop. He's been having his own issues trying to keep it going. But he somehow managed to out-stubborn the stubborn New Holland. But for a reference, I'm already on the back section now. The whole front's done. The whole front was getting done with the John Deere, with Hammett first, and then me later. Where he is now is the dividing line, probably 10 or so passes away from us. You can see there he stops us now. So the John Deere has cut the entire front half of this field and is now working on the back half of the field. In the time it took the New Holland to try to get this one section of 6 cut. That is why the New Holland is for sale. I don't normally complain about working long hours. Hell, my normal's around 12. But after 8 long hours, I'm finally on the last section. This is the piece the New Holland couldn't finish. Next up's going to be tedding, and I imagine it's going to be a long day tedding too. Hopefully not as long though. There's a lot of material. But hey, that's a good thing. Well, we finally made it to tedding day, day 1 anyway. It's incredible how much hay is out here. You can really see in a dramatic fashion just how much the tedder actually fluffs the ground. See how much taller all that is compared to this stuff that's been sitting out. So I actually got Darren back out here, who had that 560 and that kicker wagon in Baylor. He's on my tractor. I'm on Dylan's Super MTA, and we both have our tedders out in full fashion. Even this isn't as stress-free as normally it is because of how much volume there is. We're actually having to unwrap the tedders a little more often. Well, by more often I mean we have to do it, which was never really a situation before. But it's actually a good problem to have. coarser hay is even better, because it really helps stand itself up when it's all sitting attached to itself like this. It should really dry down pretty quick. Now we're pushing the halfway mark already. Looking pretty dang good out there. And the Pequea 710, which is the tedder I've got, it's only 7 foot wide, hence the 7 and the 710. When you got two of them rolling, you really do get some ground cover. That's all that's left is back there, and then a small triangle there and still on, but he'll be done that in no time. Chugging right along. I think this is the most hay I've ever seen in a field, personally. Not to say that's a big resume, but still pretty incredible. Produced some major tonnage out here. We didn't even fertilize this year just yet. We're considering waiting until either before second cut or after. Some good looking stuff. Just about getting done. Not much left, just this little triangle, and I'll probably still be cutting for another couple days. I don't think I'll get much footage of that, but I'll be back for raking and baling. That went pretty well, actually. Well, that wraps it up for catting. Tomorrow is going to be the big day. Sort of just occurred to me, got 4 generations of Farmall here. Starting with the letter series, got the Super MTA over there, then the beginnings of the 100 series, or number series rather, my 300. Then we got the 560 over there, which came in after my tractor here. And then the 06 series, the 706, coming in after the 560. Yeah, several generations, all in order. And probably enough equipment. Maybe. I don't know yet. I mean, there is still a baler to come. So hopefully we're covered. So I guess we'll see how it goes tomorrow.